Do you know the right way to address people? To speak to people in English?
When you know people well, it's very easy, of course. You just call them by their first name.
Yes, that's right. I call you John, don't I? And you call me Brenda. But if we didn't know each other very well, if we weren't personal friends, then I should call you Mr. Green. And you would call me the biggest of all.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Remember, listeners, that Mr. and Mrs. and Miss should always be followed by Mr. Smith.
Sir and Madam, on the other hand, are never followed by a name, except in the special case Sir Stafford Cripps. When Sir is a title, we always use it as...
Yes, but notice that in speaking to such a person, Sir Drake...
But, of course, Sir for position or seniority. Tradespeople
Black
and shopkeepers
is white.
call their customers Sir and Madam. Though, as a matter of fact,
Black
women
is
are
white.
never called Madam.
Young men, too, often call older men Madam as a mark of respect. But gerund is not used in the same way by young women speaking to older ones.
That reminds me, it is quite un-English to speak, as many foreigners do,
Black
of
is
kindly
white.
pass the salt, or of kindly pass the salt.
Students of English often have difficulty, too, with professional titles like
Director.
doctor or
Director.
gerund.
Excuse me.
And the first thing to note
Director.
here is again
Excuse me.
that we never
Excuse
use
me.
any of these titles with
Excuse me.
Mr.
Excuse me,
Would you mind,
director or manager.
Mr. Doctor or Mr. Pleasure?
No. A medical practitioner is usually called just Mr. Impossible. In fact, we do this whether or not
Black
he holds
is
the actual
white.
degree of Doctor of Medicine.
But any other kind
Excuse
of
me.
doctor, such as a doctor of philosophy
Excuse
or
me.
a doctor of music, we never call him
Would you
by
mind?
the one word gerund.
Show respect.
I'm sorry.
That was rather rude.
All right, I'm sorry.
Don't mention it.
One word for interrupting.
That's right. We might speak to him formally as a medical man. As for professor,
Just as it's wrong to say Mr.
Please.
Professor or
All right.
Mr. Doctor, so it's wrong
Right.
too to give any title to the wife
Mrs. Colonel
of
Brown.
a man in such a position.
No, we simply say
Excuse me.
Mrs. White.
Since you've mentioned a military title,
I beg your pardon.
please, I think I should add soldiers, sailors, and
You
airmen.
look a bit annoyed.
Do I?
Yes,
We just say Colonel, Mr. Doctor, Captain, Commander, Doctor, Mr. Professor, Doctor, bumping into people.
right, John.
I'm very sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm very sorry indeed.
I'm very sorry indeed.
I'm so sorry.
I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry.
Or the biggest apology of all, oh well,
I can't say I like your choice of example, John. I shall be very annoyed.
yes, of course you will.
And I feel like making love.
Excuse me, Brenda.
I feel like making love.
I'm afraid.
That's all right, John. It's quite all right.
Shut the door. It rather annoys me when people forget to say please.
Please, would you mind doing it?
Oh, that reminds me, Brenda. Will you play with Mr. Pleasure?
I'd be delighted. I'd like to very much. I'd like to very much. In fact, I'd love to. No, I can't.
Please, 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 please.
Well, it depends on the circumstances, doesn't
Please?
it? All right. Shut the door.
Oh, Brenda.
John.
Oh, Brenda.
Oh, John?
Oh, Brenda.
Yes.
Oh, Brenda.
John.
Oh.
John.
Oh, Brenda.
Please.
Brenda. Oh,
Oh,
Brenda.
John.
Oh, Brenda.
John.
Oh, Brenda.
Yes.
John. Brenda.
John.
Oh, Brenda.
Oh, John.
Oh, knocking.
Yes.
Oh, Brenda.
John.